Well, Mr. Sriram, it's wonderful to have you on this call. And I want to firstly ask you, you've been in the education space for over 25 years in a nutshell.
35.
35 years, my bad. And I want to ask you a very simple question. Having kind of looked through this in a large way, what is the distinctive difference in the culture today? How do you feel children are different?
Well, Tanvi, thank you for having me, this evening. Looking forward to this chat for a long time. It's pending. I think there is a huge difference in the way I see the children today compared to the child in me when I was a child. You know, from there to the child that I saw in my early years as a teacher to the children that I see now. If you ask me in a nutshell, there are two or three glaring differences that I would it comes to my mind immediately. One is that when I'm saying we, I'm talking about myself. During my time, it was largely we were brought up on a conformist approach. Once our parents or the teachers said this is to be done, we never bothered much. It was like, that's the gospel for us. Fine, we have to do that. When I became a teacher, that's the time probably this concept changed. Schools encourage children to be more inquisitive about why and what and how things are happening. So they would also always encourage the students to, question for anything that is happening. And that was taken as a okay thing. I mean, it wasn't like during my time, if I questioned a teacher, I'm gone. I mean, probably rusticated from the school. That was the kind of scenario that prevailed. To a scenario when I became a teacher, we encourage the students to ask questions, and we considered that to be okay.
Today, it's a
To a
problem if you don't ask.
yes, to a situation today where students, you cannot ask a student that you how do I put it across, like you cannot ask questions, like they're very bold in terms of the approach. Okay. And
So, what's the biggest behavior pattern that is a shift you can see in like, and also given you're in residential schools, you have very clear, like, you have access to hundreds of kids on a day to day basis. And there is a collective pattern that you can see, okay, one, two, three. So, can you, in a nutshell, tell me three things that are prevalent in today's kids, in a teenager of today?
one big thing is the intervention of the gadgets. It's a huge, you know prevalence. I mean, they want gadgets at all times.
And what kind of impact is that having in their behavior or just in their life in general?
Huge impact. I mean, as a head of the school, can you believe that I lose some of the admissions because I don't give gadgets to the students in school? That becomes a benchmark today. That are you going to give gadgets to students today? The answer is no. The parents turn around and move away. But I'm okay with that.
The parents are not okay with that.
The parents are not okay because the child is so much, what to say, they bully the parents to that extent that I need the gadget, get me to a school where gadgets are allowed. So the parents look forward to schools where there is a system where the gadgets are allowed to students. The report from UNESCO, the report from CBSE, the report from the Directorate of Education in Delhi, and recently we had two reports, one coming from Sweden and one coming from one other country. All these reports clearly state that excessive gadget time or use of screen time is one of the biggest nuisance of today's children's life. The impact that it has on the children in terms of their social emotional learning and the behavior is huge. They
I
don't
mean,
know how to even
sorry.
approach a peer to make friends. they
Wow,
are
that's a big
they
one,
are
right?
so used to the culture of accepting friends online. In reality, if you tell them go and make friends, you will find them that they act like total introverts. They don't know how to engage in a conversation unless and until the other child also feels that, yes, gives that space for this child to get into that particular space. That particular bonding doesn't even start. And I see that happening, in quite a number of cases, which is alarming, which is
And
disturbing.
on the same note of social emotional learning, do you have any specific practices that you've seen or implemented in the school to help build self awareness and positive self awareness self image, all of those aspects. Is there something that you're doing at this point around that?
Yes. See, my take on this is like there are 4 5 areas which we need to target if you really want to be successful in this, in this game of social emotional learning. The first thing is that is your curriculum. Now, if you do social emotional learning as a standalone, it doesn't produce the desired results. The moment you integrate it into a curriculum, the school's curriculum, like we do a happiness curriculum, you
The
see,
Dalai Lama curriculum?
no, we have our own happiness curriculum on the sidelines of the Delhi government happiness curriculum.
It's
There is one,
the one that this non-profit
Manish.
organization called Manish.
No, it's a one that has been formulated by the government.
Okay.
So we have taken that as the base and we have added much more to it. So we follow that curriculum wherein we talk about uh, empathy, resilience, teamwork, self-awareness, across subjects. I mean, it's not individual. We while we teach the subject, it is being taught. Okay, like for example, I'll give you while we talk literature, you can always talk about empathy. While you teach sciences, you can talk about the ethics of the digital interventions. You see, so a lot of such initiatives happen inside the classroom. And for this to happen, again, I connect this with one more important aspect, and that is the teachers. Now, you want to run an effective program in school, you need to sensitize the teacher. The teacher training has to happen first. So the teacher should know what social emotional learning is. The teacher should be aware of the concepts of what or how to roll about an effective SEL model, and also to be able to diagnose if there is a problem with a child.
And
Because
do you have a training in place at this moment where your teachers are trained to effectively handle emotional issues in class and mental health conversations for that matter?
yes, yes, we do. In fact, we call a lot of experts, doctors, and social emotional learning experts. Some of them are our own alumni who are working in, various forums. They come and talk to the students. We call trainers from institutes who come and teach the teachers as to how to find out that a child has a problem. See, unless and until the teacher is able to identify that a child has a problem, more often than not, in most cases, it goes undetected and that leads to severe consequences later. So we train the teachers at regular intervals, help them understand the importance of social emotional learning, and equip them with strategies and models that teach these skills. This includes techniques like how to manage classroom emotions. So if a child is, secluded, so we tell the teacher, now these are the children that you need to go and ask. Indulge yourself. Don't expect the child to come and talk to you. It is you who has to go and talk to the children. And then we have these open discussions which happen every now and then. Teachers go and talk to the children on social issues and then tell them, okay, speak up. There are leads that you get. Children do not speak up in front of others, in front of peers. There is always that, hesitation. So the teacher then, while during these discussions, you will get some leads. So using those leads, they then we have a very effective pastoral care system, wherein we have a, I don't know, I mean, I'm sure you must be aware of a boarding school system where we have a housemaster, an assistant housemaster, and tutors. Now, the role of a housemaster is like a foster parent. Now, he takes care of the larger things, and the AHM, of course, supports him. But then the ground level support happens with the tutors, and these tutors are engaged with a group of 5 or 6 students, a small cohort of 5 6 students. For each and everything, this teacher will be responsible. So there the individual connect is made. Now that's the teacher who will go and talk to the child in a sports field, in a lawn, sitting alone with the child and talking to him. So during these conversations, you will get, you can do a 1+1 from the leads that you get in the classroom and the leads you get from the pastoral care teacher. you will feel that there is a connect, there is something wrong with a child,
Have
and
you
that
ever
is how
had
we
like
take.
students? Have you ever had like students explicitly express that they need emotional or personal development opportunities or any kind of specific concerns that they are most concerned about?
Yes, we encourage the students to come and speak to us if they face any difficulty. Some students who are extroverts who feel the need to go and speak it up directly do come and speak it up. There are students, I wouldn't say all are of that category, but yes, some students, I mean, see, those are the ones who can come and speak up. We're not really bothered about, because either way they'll come and tell us. We are only worried about those who keep quiet for some reason or the other, not speaking up, and there's something which is going on in their mind. Those are the ones that we are really worried about, and we ensure that even those students are taken on board by this pastoral care system. And we
You
have,
have you also been able to like recognize the things that you're doing right, like any kind of practices that really stand out to foster emotional well-being in children?
like, one thing we do is, like, I mean, this is a small measure. Like I said, my biggest, if you ask me what is the biggest initiative that you run for this social emotional learning, is, I would say, the pastoral care system, because there I get a lot of leads. I get to know about children. I mean, I wouldn't name the child. There was a child 2 years back who came and confided in one of my pastoral care system that she had suicidal tendencies, that she wanted to commit suicide. So that was a lead that I got, and we worked with the child, with the parents also taking a role in it, and we were able to help the child overcome that feeling. So that is my most strongest method of doing it. But yes, we also have what is known as a suggestion box, which is kept, in an open area, not under CCTV surveillance, because that's what they fear. So
Exactly.
we've kept it outside the CCTV surveillance. We've told the children, those children who would not like to speak up directly with a teacher, who are afraid of being, pointed out by others for calling up something, please write it in a piece of paper and put it in the suggestion box.
How
So
often do
we,
you find a chicken?
oh yes, normally in a week I get one or two. Okay,
Eight.
sometimes it is more, sometimes there is none. So on an average, if you see, it's about one or two. Some are very silly, small issues, that I'm too much of tomatoes are being used in the dining hall. Come on, children are children.
Is there a way that you use a yardstick to measure what kind of impact or just measure the success of the programs that you're on, pastoral care, your in-house happiness curriculum, to measure emotional growth and resilience in children?
See, the way I look at it is, when the number of leads that come to me in terms of there is an issue in a particular child, when that reduces over a period of time, I think the program is a success. And also, those children that we've had an interaction with, where they have had problems, if they have turned out to be a challenge and be able to support other children who has the need for being supported,
Hmm.
I think, I mean, they do a even better job, because they've been through that phase, so they know how to handle the other children coming, or facing such an issue. So for me, I would say, having lesser and lesser number of children who has these kind of problems is probably a yardstick that I feel is, you know and the number of children also, in terms of getting to know about them, that they have a problem, is also coming down. You see, it's both.
So, Mr. Shyam, what I'm hearing consistently in our conversation is your approach is more curative in its undertaking, almost like you, if there's a problem, or then there's a solution. But with the changing times and the changing level of skill set in the world, do you agree with me that there is a need to almost be preventative and almost uh, need to prepare the younger generation for what is to come?
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
So, do you
Absolutely.
feel there's a gap in addressing students' emotional needs with a structured program that actually not just the ones who are struggling or who have a problem, but are collectively all kids to kind of up their level of knowing oneself, knowing how to take a moment and look inward and not necessarily just emulate a reflection of somebody else, to truly find your true authenticity. So do you kind of see there's in any way that there's a gap in that?
Uh, you see, I don't know. I would put it across like this. You're talking of structured programs that are going to be run in schools to help the
Yeah.
children.
Yeah, because what I'm also hearing when I'm here when I'm kind of interacting with you is a lot of your time and energy is focused around to we like kind of uh, separate out kids who have a problem and to make sure that they're taken care of. But what more and more we're realizing is the kids that who are out there, outspoken, don't necessarily project any problems, are also kind of in dearth of needs that like life worthy skills for that matter. I think that's the right word. So the maths and science eventually things will kind of get replaced by machines. But the things humans are innately supposed to do, tackle life, all of that is the more crucial part that day in, day out will be the necessary aspects. So that's what I'm kind of pivoting towards.
You see, as a residential school, the advantage of residential school is that you have the child 24 hours with you.
Yeah.
In the case of a day school, there is always a problem that all the good things you do in the 6 hours or 7 hours when the child is with you gets undone the moment they go back home. They have a different kind of a peer group. They have a different set of an environment where many of the parents are not even aware of what social emotional learning is. You go and ask them today, they would be completely unaware of what these challenges are. So the child is more likely to commit something which is not correct there, and then yet come back to school and then try and spoil the environment here as well. You see, you learn something bad from there, comes and tries to do the same thing out here in school. Now, in case of a residential school, the beauty is that the child is available with us 24 by 7. And as pastoral care teachers, the entire team works around them for the complete duration when they are here. We are able to give them a much more secure environment in terms of
100%.
what you're saying. So not only in terms of, you're absolutely right when you say that it's not about finding students who have a problem, but what about minimizing such a thing happening to a child who has no problem. Okay, I mean something happening to the child.
Maximize more like just maximizing one's uh, ability to be oneself. I feel more and more where the word education itself stands for bringing out. It comes from the word educare. It's not necessarily putting in. And when you sit at schools, I mean, I'm a couple of years having passed out from school, we were programmed to just learn things. And today it's completely redundant. It's unfortunate that I don't remember anything that comes in any way handy in my day to day life. I wish I had known this earlier. I wish the more important skills of life, being able to know how to get up when I fall, being able to actually discover who I am and stand for it instead of trying to hide it under somewhere so that I need somebody else's approval for it. More and more, I feel that's the need of the hour. We don't need cookie cutter people. We need people to know who they are and stand for it. And those are life worthy skills that I think are eminently missing, because even today when I call schools and say, hey, listen, what are you doing for social emotional, and say, if you have something to do with science and physics, we're happy to onboard you. If you don't, like, that's where the world is even today. And unfortunately, I feel with our country, we are still trying to meet
No,
Ford's need to create employees back in the day when industrial revolution was like, we.
no. At Man School, in fact, throughout our conversation, I have not talked about subjects till now.
Yeah, I
That
know. I mean, I was just giving you a reference in.
Okay, so for me, the academic problems that they face are handled largely by the students themselves, and we are quite open.
Thank you for that.
We're quite open to having the children choose their own choices the way they want. There I don't face. But as exactly you said, in terms of life skills, how are they able to cope up with a stress in some area of their life? The challenge that, if, like, for example, when I'm talking about this, I'm not saying it is happening in my school. Like, for example, if there is a senior who's trying to bully, a junior, how will the junior be able to stand up to it? That's a challenge which we need to teach that boy or a girl. How will you overcome that fear? Okay, now for that, as you rightly said, prevention is better than cure. So I have a system wherein We have zero tolerance for such things, and our pastoral care system and the so-called the prefects council which we have, they are the leaders in every sphere, be it in the boarding house or be it in various academic spheres. They are chosen with a lot of introspection, that once they get into the role, they will be role models for the others to emulate. It's a matter of time, Tanvi, over a period of time, when you have the system going again and again in the right way, it becomes a norm then. You
Hmm.
see, to be frank, and I'm very happy to share with you that I have not had a single case of bullying in my school in the past 4.5 years that I have taken over. There is absolute camaraderie. The juniors call the seniors Bhaiya or Didi. Okay. From that to being able to go to a teacher or a mentor to be able to share if there is any problem and it is sorted out at the first instance. I think I've been able to create a very, very conducive environment for the children to coexist, and at the same time, develop those essential life skills that one needs, just not by being in the classroom, but outside the classroom. There are plenty of opportunities for them in the playground, when they go for a tour or a trek. The camaraderie that is developed, or the kind of the bonding that gets developed is phenomenal. I mean, and once that bonding gets developed,
Do you ever
simply
have like parents asking for any kind of integration on emotional well-being or anything? Or because also, like you rightly said, 24 hours instilling of civic and moral virtues are largely a part of the school's
yes,
caring. So the parents come up with stuff that they would want ingrained in their children.
parents do ask me that, is there a provision for you to address such issues if there is any, for which the answer is always yes, because I also have three full-time counselors with me. Okay, one for the primary school, one for the middle school, and one for the senior school.
What is the strength of your school?
1200. Okay, so out of this 1200, I have about 250 boarders, and the rest are day scholars. So it's a day come boarding school. And of course, the day scholars come in the morning and leave by 2 o'clock. Of course, we promote them to come back to the school in the evening for all the activities, and some of them do. Yeah. And for the boarding, of course, they are there with us 24 by 7 and being looked after by an able set of close to 30, 35 teachers who also develop as, pastoral care in charges. So,
Sounds like a pretty robust system. You've,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm gonna stop recording this so that we can have a more confidential